From the rooftop of an uninhabited, semi-destroyed building, a contingent of Ukrainian paratroopers watch the front line of pro-Russian controlled Donetsk. This is Avdiivka, an industrial town in the middle of the buffer zone. Shelling between Kiev's forces and pro-Russian separatists has gone on unabated for the past 2 years, despite a ceasefire established by the Minsk agreement. The commander, whose nom de guerre is Sergei, explains the strategic value of the territory being fought over.
The bypass road from Donetsk and Yasinovataya goes to Golovka. Naturally, that's an important transport route. The other side, the enemy, says that we want to capture it, although in reality, we just advanced in order to ensure the safety of the citizens.
Commander Sergei then points to a nearby building, still inhabited by people. Alexei is one of them. Amazingly, he has started to renovate his apartment, despite the fact it could be damaged or even destroyed at any moment.
Now we want to change the wallpaper and the linoleum. Before the war, we didn't have time for this. When Poroshenko was coming to power, he said that the war will be ended in a month. That is his word, but he became a president. Now it's the 3rd year and the war is not over.
We catch up with the paratroopers. They will now take us to the main flashpoint. From there, soldiers can hold in check the movements of pro-Russian forces and hinder their movements along the main road. Both sides constantly exchange fire, often mortar shells, and sometimes heavy artillery and Grad rockets. But the area we're trying to reach is being shelled at the moment, so our convoy is forced to stop halfway at a Ukrainian outpost.
Now in Donetsk region, the terrorists fire after 7 p.m. They use small arms and launch mortar shells at all positions of the armed forces of Ukraine.
The outpost, a former tractor mechanics workshop, is indeed occasionally targeted by pro-Moscow artillery fire. We get word that the shelling has stopped and resume our journey to an area called the Crater, close to the road between Golovka and Donetsk.
People have started to call this place the Crater, because more than 300 shells were fired at this place.
Get down!
Bullets.
We've received the order to leave. Sergio, you go first, I'll follow. You'll cover him.
Before the war, Avdiivka was home to 35,000 people. Now at least half of them have left, mostly the young. Many here don't understand the reasons for this war. To hear their stories, we head to the market, where surprisingly there are no visible shortages of food.
Civilians have died, poor soldiers are being killed. Is this the way we must join Europe? By walking on the blood? We want to be in a peaceful Ukraine, as before. We don't need Russia. Let all the MPs come here and see how we live.
Most of Avdiivka's residents work at the Metinvest coke plant. The factory is vitally important to Ukraine's output of metal, making it an obvious target for shelling. 2 years ago, production was stopped by the fighting, and the price of coke increased by 20%. Last year, Viktor Kruglenko saw his 25-year-old son die in front of him after he was hit by a mortar shell whilst they were working.
My Soraya was lying here. He was killed immediately. Sasha, his friend, was lying right there. He was heavily wounded. Underwent surgery. Yalovoy Sasha.
Where were you?
I was thrown back there. I only got a little fragment in my head.
The company placed a commemorative plaque where Sergei died. Other workers told us that the factory is still occasionally hit by light artillery.
The shell fell right here. Shrapnel flew there. That was shrapnel.
Further south, by the Azov Sea, in the rearguard of Mariupol's front line, we meet volunteers of the Azov regiment. Yaromir is a Russian from Stavropol. who, like others among his compatriots, took up arms against the pro-Moscow insurgency on the side of Ukraine. These Russian nationals say the Ukrainian war is not about ethnicity, but about defending democratic values against what they denounce as an autocratic Russia. At least 20 Russian citizens are fighting in the ranks of the Azov regiment.
The Russian world, which is presented by Putin's administration, has nothing to do with Russians, I think so. We're not fighting against Russians, but against things they've done on the territory of modern Russia.
The Azov regiment consists of volunteers, including foreign fighters, and is controlled by Ukraine's Interior Ministry. Laramir's brother-in-arms, Denis, is a Croat who fought against the Serbs in the Balkans more than 20 years ago.
This is the beginning of the new Cold War, and Putin just wants to take a good position in that new war. And I think that whole Europe and all free world need to support this side, my side, I mean Ukraine.
The Azov regiment is controversial in Ukraine and abroad. Its detractors say it's a mercenaries' haven with some neo-Nazi orientations, whereas others say that Azov fighters are merely standing up to Russian President Vladimir Putin's expansionism.
There are people in the West who are saying that the foreigners who are fighting this war are mercenaries.
I don't have reason to hide anything. Yesterday I received my salary for February, and my salary for February is exactly 6,000 hryvnias. That is 220 euros. So if I'm mercenaries, okay, I think in past life in Croatia, 2,000 euro I was spent in one night, in few hours on the food or in the bars.